Hi everyone, welcome to our Thursday night hangout. On Thursday nights at 6 o'clock, I do a real estate investor hangout. Tonight's topic is the top 10 ways to lose money on your first fix and flip. You can register for the hangout by going over to my website, wisewealthuniversity.com/hangout, and I'm going to show you that right here, /hangouts with plural. So that's how you find us each week, and you can find out the topic, which will be posted usually during the week, a few days before the hangout. You can also follow me on Twitter, on the Pink Professor. So you can follow there, and there's also usually a few tweets about when the hangout is. Let's go back to the thing. Okay, so tonight, if you look in the comments below you, I have a PDF where you can take notes. So there's a note sheet, and it follows along and lists for you the top 10 ways that you can lose money on a fix and flip. And I'm going to go over those with you tonight. I'm going to start with a screen share of a PowerPoint, and that'll help us, just see some pictures and help you remember different ways that you could lose money. So let's dive right in. If you get a chance to download the sheet, then you can print it out and take some notes. All right, here we go. I'm just going to get the PowerPoint started here. Start with the top slide. All right, let me do the screen share again. One sec. All right, I'm going to start the screen share. I think I can just do the slide only, so you don't have to see all the notations there. All right, so what we're going to do tonight to talk about our top 10 ways to lose money on your first fix and flip is to play a game of this, not that. I should have a comma in there. Anyway, so I'm going to show you what you should do versus what you shouldn't do. So this, not that. Go over a few pictures that I threw up there just to get started. And the two left ones here are a house we did in Sacramento a few months ago, and the before picture and the after picture. Here's the truck of one of the contractors, and that will come up later on in the list. So just remember the kind of truck you see there. This is the fireplace picture from another rehab that we did, and the kitchen from a different rehab. And this is actually a picture of the same kitchen from the same rehab, showing just a little bit of lights we used to kind of accentuate the fact that there's a little bar there, and you could put bar stools here. But we still use a very basic ceiling light throughout the house. So this was kind of a little bling we added to make the house appeal to people. So let's go for the this, not that. Let's see if I can forward the slide. Don't think it wants to show. I'm just hoping I can't do that because that won't show the slides for everybody. Tried that before. All right, well, let's just show it with the navigator, and I hope you don't mind seeing that part of it. Pictures aren't quite as big, but best I can do for now. Because I did show a full screen slideshow on one of my other hangouts, and nothing showed up. All right, so we're going to play this game, this, not that. And let's start with tip number 1, which is you buy the wrong house. So I want you to look at the house on the left. This is a house that we had completed. This is also the house, another house up in Sacramento. So it's not the same house, it's not before and after. But these are the kind of starter homes that you want to buy. You don't want to buy this. So it's this, not that. Okay, that's a luxury home. So 50% of the houses that are built and on the market are starter homes. 2, 3, or 4 bedroom houses. They range between 1,000 square feet up to 2,000 square feet, maybe 1,800 is best to stay under for you. Anything over that is a luxury home. Actually, it's a move-up home, so 25% of the homes are move-up homes. They're larger. They may be 2,000 to 3,500 square feet. And the other 25% are luxury homes over 3,500 square feet. So you don't want to buy the startup home, the move-up home, or the luxury home. You want to buy a starter home because 50% of the inventory are starter homes and 50% of the people live in those. So you have a much wider market to appeal to. The other thing to think about is, how does someone get into a starter home? Well, it's their first house. So what happens with the first house is they're living in an apartment. Picture you're living in an apartment, maybe you're in a 1-bedroom and the wife's pregnant. Okay, well now we're gonna have a baby. Well, I guess we could keep it in our room for a little while. Then eventually you need more space, so you kind of have to buy the starter home. Some people start with a 2-bedroom, so they might have 1 child in an apartment. Then the wife gets pregnant again, so you're trying to, you need 2 bedrooms. You already have 2, maybe you need 3. So this is when it gets difficult, and people usually buy a starter home because they have to. They have to get out of the apartment. It's too cramped. There's too many toys. There's not enough space. The baby toys overlap with toddler toys. You don't want your baby picking up the toddler toys. There's many reasons that people need to move into a 3 and 4 bedroom house, and that's the starter home. Those are the ones that you want to buy to fix and flip. Let's go to number 2. You pay too much for the house. What I've done here is say you want to be like this, where you're counting every penny or every $100. You don't want that, where the seller and the realtor are super excited because you paid too much for the house. So be careful, negotiate well, and make sure that you don't pay too much and that you got a really good price. It fits in with your budget. Let's see if I can get rid of that slide layout on the right there. I don't know if it's possible to get rid of that. No, I don't see any way to do it. All right, so next, number 3. Number 3 is you hire the wrong contractor. Okay, so there's a lot of things to be doing when you look for a contractor. You want this guy over here on the left, kind of works by himself. He has a regular truck. Remember when I pointed out the truck and the first house? And I can go back to that slide for a second. That's the actual truck that our contractor was using. So that's the contractor's truck. You don't hire these contractors, the guys with the plans and they should be able to pull a permit if they have to. But they don't have a whole staff, people working for them in the office. They definitely don't have a wrapped truck. They never made enough money to do that, okay? They don't wrap their truck. We just have a basic truck, basic guy. He's got a clipboard, his tool chest. Not too fancy, because if you hire these guys, you're paying for all that. And look at the warehouse where they store all their extra materials. You want this guy over here on the left. Where do you find them? You find them on Craigslist. Sometimes you can talk to friends. You can go to your local REHAB club and ask them, who do you use as a contractor? Sometimes these guys advertise. Sometimes they don't advertise at all. They might be in the yellow pages. They could be listed under handyman. They might put themselves on Craigslist, you know, because they just do one thing. They just do tile. They just do painting. So, or you can go to other construction sites and find a guy, find his truck, get a business card, find out what they do and get their phone number and call them. Okay, so those are the kind of contractors you want. You want the inexpensive contractors. It doesn't mean they don't do good work. They just don't have a lot of fancy buildings, trucks, and staff behind them, because you could never afford to flip a house if you did it that way. Okay, let's see, I was on number 3. Buy the wrong house. 1, pay too much for the house, and follow along if you have printed out your note sheet. Hire the wrong contractor. Number 3. Number 4, forget to budget for oops items. Okay, what's an oops item? In your budget, you should have a section for miscellaneous. So miscellaneous can be anywhere from if you're doing a really inexpensive one, maybe 2,000, but I would go up to 5,000 in your miscellaneous. That way, if you don't use it, it's a really nice profit for you. But if you do have to use it, you've still budgeted your profit into the budget. If you don't do that, you're going to end up losing money on the house. So that is the 4th top way to lose money on a house. If you forget to put in an oops line item on your budget, or you might call it a miscellaneous item. So I came up with a couple of examples here, and the one on the left there happened to us just in December. A tree fell on the roof of a house. We'd already completed the rehab. I think it happened in November, and no one had purchased the house yet. So the tree fell. We had to repair the roof, the gutter, and get the roof certified and pay for that. So that's one thing that can happen. Number 2 is theft. Say you're putting in materials and they're all sitting around. On a different house that we were working on just a month ago, we had the stove and the microwave stolen. They were still in the box. They were sitting in the kitchen, and they had not been installed yet. Even if they were installed, they could still be stolen. We now are marketing that house without the stove and the microwave, because we want to make sure that it doesn't get stolen again. And we've told people that as soon as it closes, the day of closing, we will install those items. The other thing that we did was we put an alarm on that particular house, because it's in a neighborhood that's going to be a little bit rougher, and we know someone's already been watching the house. So if they watched it once and looked for something to steal, they would probably do the same thing again. When a big delivery truck shows up in front of the house and unloads something called appliances, it's very easy for someone to come in that night and go and grab the appliances. So for now, the house has an alarm system. So let's go, that was number 4. The 4th way to lose money is forgetting to budget for oops items. Okay, number 5, we're halfway through the list tonight. We're breezing right through this. Number 5th way to lose money on your fix and flip is don't hire separate guys or crews for special jobs. This is really crucial. If you hire a big-time contractor, they have separate guys to do separate things, because no one's good at everything. And they take a large percentage, usually 50% of the job, just to oversee and hire those guys. If you choose to do this yourself, That's perfectly okay if you hire separate guys to do separate items on your project. So let's look at how that works. All right, separate guys for tile, separate guys for the fence, separate guys to do painting, separate guys for granite. So let's go over that. So in this case, we had a regular crew who could do, maybe 2 or 3 guys that could do a lot of different things. So they put in the tub, they put in the wrap around the tub, they put in everything behind it and underneath it. We had a separate guy who just did tile. He tiled the floor here. He also tiled this floor. It's the same tile. He tiled the kitchen and the baths with the same tile. He also did the shower. So that's what it looks like in a shower. It's still the same travertine. And he did that. He put in these nice little wedge shelves here and a little bit of the decorator tile to make it look nice. We had a separate guy come in and just do spreading out all of our wood chips and all of our rock, because they kind of specialize in landscape stuff. He doesn't really do plaster. Same guy doesn't really do that. So we had a separate guy just do that. And another guy's really good at building fences. We hired him just to build fences. We have a crew of 2 or 3 people that do all the walls. They spray the texture, they paint. They also can install doors and do the trim around the doors and do the baseboard. So they kind of do everything that has to do with trim and wood. We have another guy who just installs kitchens. So he orders the cabinets. He actually drives up to LA to get the cabinets and the granite, which he imports. And then it's Chinese granite. And then he has just a little truck, and he buys the backsplash as well and does any finish work that he needs to do. But this granite comes pre-finished. It's polished on the front, and he sometimes has to do a little corner here and there, and he does that right in the driveway. So you need to hire separate guys for all these different items, and that keeps your costs down. Okay, remember the guy with the pickup truck. That's what you're looking for. All right, number 6, buying the wrong materials. Okay, the sixth top way to lose money on a rehab, buying the wrong materials. So in this case, I gave an example of this, not that. All right, so in this case, we use these contractor lights, and those sometimes come in a 2-pack, and you can use them throughout the house. They're very inexpensive. We did put in these 3 pendant lights, and those were they're coming a kit from Home Depot or Lowe's. And it was really to accentuate this counter where you could have 3 bar stools instead of having, needing other room for a kitchen table. For a small family, you could have your bar stools and eat right there at the kitchen counter. This is actually a picture of the same kitchen as it was set up and staged. So this is a little further down the counter from this location here. But you definitely don't get big chandeliers. If you get any ceiling fans, you get the very nice, inexpensive ceiling fans. You don't do anything fancy. Save that stuff for your own house after you made money on your rehabs. So in this case, don't get the wrong materials. Don't be a materials girl. Get these kind of items. Oh, let's talk about appliances. Okay, it's usually nowadays people want stainless steel, but mostly the stainless steel is just on the front of the stove. It's not always on the top. And there's a stainless steel microwave, and they match, but you're getting the basic item. I at least get the backsplash with the clock on top. I don't get the total cheap ones that don't even have a clock, although I do put those in apartments. Usually self-cleaning, it usually will come with that, and that's a feature that most women would like to have in the house. So those are really the only 2 items that I want to pay for. All right, so that was number 6, buying the wrong materials. Number 7 in the top 10 ways you could lose money on your first fix and flip. If you don't handle your trash carefully. Well, let's talk about the trash. All right, on this particular house on the left, we did get a permit. We had a dumpster, we had it out there, and what happened was when people knew the dumpster was there, they kept bringing their own items and putting them in. And then they left a mattress. They left several mattresses, to be honest. So what you really need to do is demo everything in the house as best you can. Hire the dumpster for just one day and fill it up as quickly as possible so that it's full by the end of the day. No one can drop anything into it at night, and have it hauled away the next day. Don't keep the dumpster there for a long time. And the other good thing to do is have the dumpster come on the weekend if you can. And we'll get back to that later, why that's crucially important, okay? So in this case, we had the dumpster was gone, but people had already planned on getting rid of stuff, so they just gave us their old beds. Then you've got to do another trash run and get rid of that. So demo everything in the house, and then fill up your dumpster when you can. As you can see, we got some deliveries of cabinets. Over here, there's a lot of cardboard in the garage. So all the cabinets were stored in the garage while we were still doing the painting in the house. In this case, we did a lot of landscaping, so we filled up the dumpster right away. The other thing you need to do is kind of segregate your trash. If you put anything in the trash that doesn't belong, and certain things cannot go in the trash, like old tires and things like that, when the people handling the dumpster see that, they will charge you the highest price for removing that stuff. They won't charge you the base price. So, or they'll charge you to segregate those items. So make sure that you only have the things in the trash that need to be in there. Don't throw any old tires lying around the property in there, and various other items that either make it too heavy, like old stones and concrete, or some people want the landscape stuff to all be in a separate dumpster. So make sure that that is separated out from the things that come out of the house, like wallboard and old appliances, because your city may not take those. Sometimes you have to bring the appliances down separately, and there's a separate disposal fee for that. So make sure your guys don't just throw everything in the trash willy-nilly. You need to have control of your trash. So that is number 7 on our list of the top 10 ways to lose money on your first fix and flip. Okay, then number 8, these last two kind of go together a little bit. Number 8 occurs if you end up with a permit that you really don't need. I kind of put 8 and 9 together, and that is also called, number 9 is inviting thieves to the party. So you want to keep a low profile. The low profile keeps out the thieves and your city inspectors. So in this case, the dumpster was there for a very short time. This particular house, we knew we had to get a permit on. It had a cracked slab. We needed to do extensive work, and it was on a corner that near the city, so the city hall. So people did go by, and we did get a permit on that. But if you can get your dumpster in and out of there in a day or two, and have a lot of things done before anyone comes by, you can avoid doing, any particular inspections. Sometimes we do all the inside work and just do any outside paint at the very end, and by that time the house is all done, so there's nothing that we need to get a permit for. So number 8 is don't end up with a permit you don't need. And number 9 is don't invite thieves to the party. So in other words, don't make it obvious that you're flipping the house. If you don't have anything out front and nobody notices, all the better for you. This house was in a very nice neighborhood, this one on the left, and we already had a permit. So we had our We Buy Houses signs out there in front of the house. Like I said, this was a busy corner that people went by. And the city was also redoing the sidewalks at the same time. So they were very aware of what we were doing. We didn't have to worry about thieves in this particular house. actually, or this one. That was another house up in Sacramento I mentioned that we had the appliances stolen from back in November. So don't invite your thieves to the party. Okay, so number 10 in the list of the top 10 ways that you can lose money on your first fix and flip is if you don't watch the timing and you borrow too much money. You have to watch your timing and your daily burn rate. So you need to schedule everything. Schedule your plumber when the electrician comes. You don't want to have your plumber have to come back, and which happened to us one time. They had to move the gas line for the stove a couple inches over because it wasn't measured properly where we were actually going to put the new stove, and it wasn't, it used to have a wall oven, so we had to move the line, but it hadn't been sketched out properly. So we had to have the plumber come back, excuse me, and move that gas line. Don't pay too much interest on your loan in terms of getting a hard money lender that has too many fees. And I teach you in various other parts of the training how to use private lenders. In fact, I do have an ebook on private lending, and I will post that in the comments. So I have an ebook at wisewealthuniversity.com/PV lending, PV for private. So don't pay too much, don't borrow too much, schedule everything, because you don't want to have the burden that these little gold guys are carrying of a high interest rate with that house. So that is the 10th reason that you can lose money, or the 10th way you can lose money on your fix and flip. I will just kind of run through all of those again, and hopefully you've downloaded your notes. If you're watching on YouTube or Google Plus, I've included that in the description. I've also included it, I think, in the comments on YouTube and on the comments. Let's see, in YouTube, it has to be in the description. I put it in the comments on Facebook. So you can go to my website and you'll be able to download that form and those notes right away. So let me switch back out of screen share, and I'll just go over the list one more time, and then we will sign off for tonight. All right, thank you all for listening. I will look at that list again and just call it out for you. So the top 10 ways that you can lose money on your first fix and flip. Buying the wrong house. So you want to buy a starter home, not a large luxury home. Don't pay too much for the house, so negotiate as best you can. Don't make the seller and the realtor happy that you spent a lot of money on that house. Another way, hire the wrong contractor. Hire the inexpensive guys, not the guys who have a big office, or any office for that matter, and ones that don't have fancy trucks. So that's how you figure out if they're the right price for you. Number 4, don't forget to put oops items in your budget. Put a miscellaneous $3,000 to $5,000 in case stuff goes wrong. Hire separate guys and crews for special jobs. Some people do tile, some do fences, some do painting really well. Hire a plumber, hire an electrician. So hire your own subs to do the work. Don't buy expensive materials. Buy the contractor grade, regular basic paint, regular basic lights. Get as many deals as you can. We just found some laminate for a house. I think it was 78 cents a square foot that we're putting in. Handle your trash carefully. Make sure you know how to segregate the trash. Get that dumpster in and out just on the weekend. Don't advertise that you're fixing that house. You're going to end up with a permit that you probably didn't need. So keep a low profile. Don't invite thieves to the party. Again, that goes along with keeping a low profile. If thieves come by, you're going to end up losing some materials or some equipment that your contractors might have left there. The other thing is you can just quickly install an alarm system, make that a bonus, and leave it for the people that are buying the house from you. And number 10, the last one, is you can lose money if you don't watch the timing and your daily burn rate. Figure out how much the interest, the utilities, and the taxes are costing you every day. Divide that by 365 and figure out what that costs you every single day and post that somewhere. Think about it. Well, this is going to cost me $150 a day, $200 a day, whatever it is, so that every day counts. Make every day count on your remodel. One of the ones we did last summer, we were done and had it sold and closed in 85 days. So that was a nice, fast one. We like to get things rehabbed and done in 6 weeks, and then it usually takes a few weeks if you have a quick buyer. The last one we did had a VA loan, and that did take longer, so a little bit longer than 30 days. And a bonus item, which is number 11, another way you can lose money is if you don't list the house for a flat fee rate. If you list with a regular realtor, you're going to be paying the full 6% commission. If you can list it yourself for a flat fee, list it with a realtor who does a flat fee listing, and then offer 2.5% to 3% to the buyer's agent who's going to bring your buyers to you. I mean, the agents have buyers who call them, so it's really hard to sell that house yourself without a lot of marketing. But at least you can cut that commission in half. So do the flat fee listing for the house, and that's the bonus item. That will come up later when we talk about flipping. So I'm in a series right now, which is Find, Fund, Fix, and Flip. And we've gone through finding and funding over quite a few Hangouts starting since November. And so right now we're on the fix part of the Hangouts. So I'm going to be having other people who fix houses and flip them. And they're going to come in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to interview different people and how they flip their houses. So you can learn from a bunch of different flippers. I'm going to have them come on and reveal, their top 10 or their secrets, or how they do it. Whatever secrets they have, I'm going to share that with you as I interview them. So I'm looking forward to these next couple of weeks where we interview other flippers. And then the final topic in that series will be how to actually flip the house. And that'll deal more with marketing and sales and your final costs and your negotiations and things like that. So I want to thank you all for joining me tonight on our Real Estate Investor Hangout. I do it every Thursday night, and I'll put up where you can find the Hangout. So you can join me on wisewealthuniversity.com/hangouts. And if you put in your name and email there, you'll be reminded every week when we're going to have a Hangout and exactly what the topic is. So please join that list, and you'll be reminded each week of what we're going to do. I also have Wise Wealth University on Facebook. So if you want to follow me there, go to that page, Wise Wealth University on Facebook, and like the page, and you'll see postings there each week. And the last one, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm the Pink Professor. So if you go there, you'll see a posting every week as well for the Hangout. So thank you all for joining. We'll be having interviews in the next couple of weeks, and as well as we'll be taking questions during those interviews. So I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks so much. And let me put my bottom on there. All right. Thank you so much, and have a great night.